Have you ever set a goal only to get sucked right back into your business and wake up 6 months later realizing you've not made any progress? Well, most entrepreneurs think this is just how business works. But there's actually a very simple solution for this, and it's something nobody talks about. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to build the exact system that makes it impossible not to achieve your goals, and has helped over 100 business owners scale faster, work less, and have a business that runs without relying on them. Now, quickly, before I show you the system, you need to understand why you're stuck in the first place. Because if you don't understand this, the system quite simply won't work for you. So let's say you're a $1 million business owner and you want to be a $10 million business owner. Do you think you have to act like a $10 million business owner or a $1 million business owner to get there? Well, obviously you have to act like the $10 million business owner, because you have to do the things that a $10 million business owner would do, otherwise you'll never get there. So let's say that's your goal, to reach $10 million. Well, here's the problem, and this is where most entrepreneurs go wrong when it comes to goals and making progress. If you don't see yourself as a $10 million per year business owner, you will not act like one. You can't, because if you don't believe you can do something, or that you are something, or if you believe something is impossible, you will act according to those beliefs, and therefore you won't take the necessary actions to achieve your goal. This is the constraint of self. You cannot act outside of your current identity, and I don't just fucking mean that as a nice quote to sound all fucking profound. No, I mean it literally. Your brain will not let you. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So if you picture a basic system where we have an input, a process, an output, and a feedback loop, your identity, which is the beliefs you hold about yourself and the world, that's the input. Your actions and decisions are the processes, and the output is the results that you get from your actions. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Your results are determined by your actions, but your actions are constrained by your identity, because you will always act in line with what you believe. If you don't believe that you can do something, you will not take the actions required to do it, all so that you can prove to yourself that your belief is true. For example, if you believe that it's impossible for you to run your business in, say, 4 hours a day, you will never do the things that are required for you to run your business in 4 hours a day, because you don't think you can. So for you to be able to work less and scale faster, you first have to shift your beliefs and identity to believe that it's possible, which means your identity is essentially the ceiling on your results. But there is more to it than that as well, because every action creates an output, a result, which is an experience, okay? And that experience feeds back into your identity, making the related belief even stronger. So not only are your beliefs limiting your actions, your results are reinforcing the beliefs that created them in the first place. So for example, if as a kid you experienced your parents arguing over bills every week, that repeated experience forms a belief that money is scarce, because that is all a belief is. It's a repeated experience that makes you see the world through a certain lens. And if you believe money is scarce, that there's just not a lot out there, how on earth can you expect to do the things that would get you a lot of money? Well, you can't. You will self-sabotage to confirm the belief, and then when money is scarce in your life, that result reinforces the belief, and the loop gets tighter. This is why people stay stuck for years. The system that they're operating under is working perfectly. It's just running the wrong fucking program. But don't know the good thing about systems. You can change the output by changing the input or the processes, or both. And in this case, we need to change both your beliefs and your actions. And the reason you need to change both is crucial. If you try to change your beliefs without consciously changing your actions, you'll never reinforce a new identity, so you self-sabotage. And if you try to change your actions without changing your beliefs first, you can't sustain it, because you cannot act out of alignment with how you see yourself. So again, you self-sabotage. So we shift your beliefs first, which expands the range of actions available to you, and then we consciously act in alignment with those new beliefs to create new results, which create new experiences, which reinforce the new beliefs. All we're doing here is reprogramming the system to work for you instead of against you. Now, let me show you the actual system to do this, and there's 4 steps to it. Step 1, figure out your goal. So the goal gives you the filter for everything that follows. It is how we determine what beliefs to build and what beliefs to break. Without a clear goal, now you can still do this, but it is so much harder to figure out what beliefs to build and what beliefs to break. So get a notebook right now, and at the top, write down your goal. Step 2, write out every habit, mindset, belief, and characteristic of the person who has already achieved that goal. So the version of you that has already done it, that has achieved the thing that you want, what do they do every day? How do they think? What do they believe about money, about success, about themselves? Maybe they wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. Maybe they do 4 hours of deep work on their most important tasks. First thing, maybe they focus on systems and hiring to remove themselves as a bottleneck. Maybe they believe that money and success is abundant. Maybe they believe that success doesn't have to be hard. Maybe they reject the story that they are not a numbers person. These will all be unique to you and your goals, but take 10 to 15 minutes to actually think about this and list everything out. Step 3, take everything you listed in step 2 and rewrite it as your manifesto. So what this means is writing about every single characteristic, habit and belief as if you already have it. So instead of saying they wake up at 6 a.m, you write, I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning and do 4 hours of deep work on my most important tasks. Instead of they don't bottleneck their business, you write, I understand how important it is to not be the bottleneck in my business, so I focus on systems and hiring so that my business doesn't rely on me. Go through every single thing you listed and write it like this, as if you already have it. Now, depending on you and what you've written, you might end up with half a page or you might end up with like 4 pages. There is no right or wrong, okay? But I will say this, shorter makes step 4 easier to stick with, so you want it as short as possible, but as long as needed. But with that, don't just go and try write 2 lines just because that's easier. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. Okay, do it properly. Now, you might be wondering why we're writing all this down instead of just deciding to be different, to behave differently. Well, that's why we have step 4, because this is where psychology kicks in and where this actually starts to work. So step 4 is read your manifesto every morning and every night. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Is this manifestation? No, look at me. Like, do you think I'm into crystals and manifesting? No, I'm fucking not. You're not going to read this and then wake up with $1 million in unmarked bills sitting at your door. That's a pile of shite. It does not work. All this is psychology. Because look, your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. Like, I'm being serious. Think about a placebo. You can give someone a fake pill and they will experience the effects of the real pill. That is a real experience manufactured entirely by the mind. Or if you think of a vivid, powerful memory from your life, when you close your eyes and imagine it, you can feel the feelings, smell the smells, hear the sounds from that time. This is your brain generating a real experience from something that is not actually happening. See, a belief is formed through repeated experience. An experience can come in 2 forms. So we have physical, which is where you see it, you do it, and we have mental, where it happens in your mind. So when you read your manifesto, your subconscious processes it as an experience because it knows no different. And because you're reading it every morning and every night, it becomes a repeated experience. And repeated experience is exactly how beliefs are formed. So you're using the same mechanism that created your limiting beliefs to build new forward-leaning beliefs. And as those new beliefs take hold, what happens is you shift the possibilities that are available to you. So you start to notice different things, different opportunities, different paths to get to your goal. You'll start making different and better decisions. You'll start taking different actions. It's like the simplest example I can give here, and it's sort of out of context, but it works, is that when you buy a new car, all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere, right? Your brain starts recognizing different things because that thing is now important to you. So by setting a goal and shifting your beliefs, you're essentially saying, okay, this thing's really important to me. I believe I can make it happen. I believe that it's possible. So therefore the opportunities make themselves available to you and you start to notice them. And now those actions will produce different results, which become new experiences that reinforce the new beliefs that you have. But remember, I said you need to change both your beliefs and your actions, because you're not going to just sit there and think and get different results. Not how this works, okay? So let me show you how to change your actions. And really, this is so fucking simple. See the habits you wrote about in step 2, the things that the future version of you does every day. Start doing them, okay? Every single day, start acting like the person you described. Because see, if you act like them and then you start to think like them, you will get the same results as them. That's how everything works, okay? If you want a certain result, you have to do the things to get that result, which means you have to act like the person that can get that result. So read your manifesto daily, that changes your beliefs, and act like that person daily to reinforce them. But let me give you a warning, because to be honest, this is important and I'd be doing you a complete disservice not to say it. I get all of my clients in the MOS to go through this process because if I want them to get better results, it all starts with them. And more specifically, it all starts with them believing that they can get those results and taking the actions, etc. So it all starts internally. And for things to change, you have to change, because otherwise things don't change. And because of that, because I get all my clients to do this, I can guarantee you what's going to happen. First, you're either not going to do this and you'll keep spinning your wheels for another 6 months or a year or 10 years. So please just fucking do this, okay? See if you do this for 2 days. you will notice how much better and confident and focused you feel, and you realize it works and you're going to keep doing it. Like, most of my clients say to me, like, Ross, why am I doing this? What is this about? And then I'm like, just trust me, just do it, please. And then they're like, the next week when I'm talking to them, they're like, holy crap, this is game changing. I can't believe I've never done this before. I'm going to keep doing this. But the second thing that's going to happen is you will do this for a while, you'll level up, things will start working, and then you'll think, okay, I don't need to do this anymore. So you stop. Then 3 months pass and you've not made any progress. So you start again, and then you make progress, and then it repeats. Like, this has happened to me, and it's happened to everyone I know who does this. So if I can give you one bit of advice, do this no matter what, okay? And like, this is not magic. You're not going to be worth $100 million tomorrow. All we're doing here is changing how you think. We're changing the perspective you have about yourself and the world. Because if you want to say, run a $10 million per year business, yet you're sitting there telling yourself, I'm not a numbers person, or I don't like data, I don't like spreadsheets, I don't know how to use them, then how on earth can you ever expect to run a $10 million business? You need data to get there and to run it. So that story that you're telling yourself is not protecting you. It's fucking holding you back and limiting yourself and your business. And there's absolutely no benefit to having a limiting or negative belief about yourself or the world. None. Zero. There's no benefit to it. Like, if you take two people, one person thinks negatively all the time, one person thinks positively all the time, who's going to experience better results? It's a positive person every single time, because they're not limiting themselves. They're not, like, it's so fucking woo-woo, and I'm not into woo-woo stuff, but it's like, if you are constantly thinking negative things, you're only going to get negative results, because everything you do is tainted by that negative perspective that you have. Like, if you have a negative perspective about how well this certain project is going to go in the business, and subconsciously you will sabotage yourself, and because it's subconscious, you don't realize you're doing it. And so you don't put as much effort into that project. You don't do it correctly. Again, it's subconscious. You don't realize you're doing it. And then the project doesn't work. And then you're like, oh, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to work. Well, it's because you made it not work, because you did not believe in the first place that it would work. And so any negative belief is limiting you. Whereas with someone who thinks positively about themselves, about the world, because they're not limiting themselves, they enjoy the work, and they also believe that it's going to work. So they put more effort into it. So therefore, it actually fucking works for them. Okay? Like, your identity is the ceiling on your results. If you raise the ceiling, everything changes. And so what you have to do is you have to learn to shift your perspective around yourself and the world so that you can see things more positively. Not only will this get you better results in business, but you'll feel better. You'll be more confident. You'll be more focused. You'll just have a better daily satisfaction level rather than beating yourself up all the time. Like, how can you expect to maximize your potential and grow your business if everything you see and everything you do has a negative connotation to it? It doesn't fucking work. Okay? So what we want to do is shift that perspective. We want you to grow. We want you to improve. And that all starts in here, because in here is what determines the actions and decisions that you do, that you make. And therefore, we need to change in here to change what you can do out here in physical reality, and therefore the results that you get. Okay? Now, obviously, this is only one aspect of it. You need to also upgrade your knowledge and skills levels so that you can actually run your business better, do the right things, build systems, etc. So click the video on screen now, and I'll show you exactly how to build systems so that your business can run itself.